Hey everybody, it is Clint Arthur with you again, and today I have the latest Magic Messenger to join the ranks of Magic Messengers. Yes, another one, another real entrepreneur out there making it happen. Yes, her name is Shalita Heard, and thank you and congratulations and welcome to this celebration call, Shalita.
Yes.
So tell us.
I'm like, oh, enthusiastic, Clint.
There's nothing I love more than changing people's lives with new TV power and with television and
Absolutely.
creating celebrities, right? So tell me,
And
what happened to you today and how do you feel?
let's see. And it's actually my assistant booked on our local KR Kent. It's not KR Kent. It's KRK. News network, and she actually gave me the information when I was boarding a flight from Stamford, Connecticut. And so we have been studying your book and all of your press kits and everything. And so I'm like, I have to get this right just for me because I believe Clint is my guy and he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. I just have to make this work for me. And we've been working on this since I met you in LA back in March or April or whatever. And so, we've contacted some media people and we've got some shade, and everybody's not excited about, what Shalita's doing. But my assistant was able to book us on for a morning show. Right before I got on the flight, I was not expecting no, but she was able to get us on the show this morning at 6:45. And so she called me yesterday before I was boarding the flight in Newark, New Jersey. And, I'm like, oh my God, what do I do now? I got it. We're in there. And so I send over, my press kit and all of the guidelines and everything that you had given us, through your teachings. And the producer was like super excited, to get all the information and everything was perfect according to your script. And so, I sent him over the press kit. I was super confident because I'm like, this information clump comes from Clint Arthur, so it must be right? I mean, he's like been all over everywhere. And so I went in this morning. He asked that I be there at 6:45. I showed up at 6:20, like you advised us to show up early. And, the lady who let me in, she's like, oh my God, you're so early. And I thank God that I showed up early, like you advised us, through coaching. Because in my showing up early, I was able to get a feel for the studio and the environment. And I was able to establish a connection with the anchors who were going to be interviewing me before I got in the hot seat. And so before I left home, I was like freaking out. I was having an anxiety attack. I couldn't breathe. And so I'm at home putting on my makeup and I'm doing breathing exercises. And I'm like, you know what? Clint says I'm cool. Clint says I'm fine. Clint says I'm perfect. And so I'm going to nail this because I'm sitting there reading the book like at 3 o'clock in the morning and everything that you taught us. And so I get there to the studio and there's no corner to wait in. We were actually sitting inside the studio with the anchors while they were doing the morning news and the weather and the traffic reports. And the anchors were asking me questions before I took the hot seat, And so there were some points actually. But before I got in the seat, the anchor, sure, I knew, and we both collectively knew exactly what we were going to be talking about when I got in the seat. And so I remembered everything you told me. I remember reading the book this morning before I went about what to wear, how to act, not to, be in the way. And they loved me so much that after I finished my interview, they called me to the back, Clint. You hear that?
Okay.
They called me to the back. And they have already invited me back for later interviews. And they pretty much said, whatever I want to come on the show and talk about my business, I am more than welcome. If I need live camera for anything that I'm doing in the future, they are there. And they've given me opportunities to work with them in the recent future on some projects that they're already working in.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That is awesome.
Yes.
Wow,
So,
you really hit it, kid. You hit it out of the park.
right.
So, congratulations. How do you
Thank
feel?
you.
How do you feel?
I feel awesome. It's like the energy is overwhelming. For the past 48 hours, I've had about 6 hours of sleep. You can't tell that because my energy levels are like off the charts. I feel like a celebrity, kind of like a local rock star, and this is like my first interview. I haven't even made it to the other networks. I haven't made it to the agents. I haven't reached the other states, but my followers through social media, they're like overly excited. And it's like I became a celebrity overnight, you know, and following your teaching. So that's how I feel. I'm like overly ecstatic.
I'm so happy for you. You know, you are the first person to accomplish this using just the book. Okay. Now, you know, a lot of my students, they get the whole New TV Power program with all the CDs and audios. But all you did was use the greatest TV publicity training book of all time, right? And there's some audios that come with it. So what do you think was the most powerful part of that program?
I would say the most powerful part would be what the producers are expecting me to produce to them in order to come on the show. It's like I know my business, I know my work, I know all of those things, but it was in learning exactly what the producers expected from me in order to qualify, for interview on the morning show. I think that was the most valuable thing. I mean, everything was valuable, but I think where I was lacking before I got my interview on the morning show was knowing, that the producers, they're just normal people. They're not these super big wigs that are kind of, stuck up and stiffy. They're like normal people. They're like the most laid back people that I've ever met in my life. And in reading that in the book, it gave me some sense of comfort in knowing that these aren't some super rich, fabulous, stuffy people that I'm gonna have to super articulate language to in order to get on the morning show. I just hit them with everything that I had. I actually appeared on MTV today at 3 o'clock on Made TV. And so, you talk about the celebrity attachment. It just so happens to be attachment with this, pitch to the media. And so, once they heard that I was going to be on MTV Made, they're like, oh my God, so what are you doing on MTV Made? What is your business? What do you do? How can we incorporate this into our morning show?
Yeah.
And so that's super important. That celebrity connection, with TV or whatever, that is like supremely important,
That's actually a pop culture connection because you're going to be, how did you get on the MTV show?
Well, actually, I contributed to the way that I market brand business here in the state of Arkansas. I'm a hair extension specialist here in the state of Arkansas. And it's just because of the way I brand myself online and the way I market myself, MTV actually called my personal cell phone. And so it wasn't some inside connection that I had that got me on the show, or I didn't have to audition or anything like that. But I was able to make an appearance on MTV, and here in Arkansas, it's a really big deal because we're not LA. We're not New York. We're not Miami. We're Arkansas. And so, that's how I got the deal on MTV, due to the way I position myself in my marketplace as the number one go-to specialist, for hair extensions in the state of Arkansas.
Well, that's awesome. And then you parlayed that into the ABC, or you just added that to your ABC?
It's kind of, we led with that. And what we led with, the way I taught my assistant your program because I wasn't able to make the calls myself. And so in learning and teaching myself your systems and your programs, I was able to feed that information, the most important elements of your system, into my assistant so that when she called these, media outlets, she knew the basics of what would get the producer's attention. And so we led with an Arkansas business owner's dreams come true by helping someone else's dreams come true.
Nice.
And so that's what we led by.
Awesome. So, what would you say would be the biggest piece of advice you would give to somebody who is on the fence right now?
My biggest piece of advice would be just go for it. I think I met you in March, the first time I was introduced to you and your system, and you've gotten the emails from me, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't get in or whatever. And, I'm reading everything, and I'm like, well, how do I make this fit what I'm doing? And I know this works for Clint, but how do I make this work for me? And so my biggest piece of advice that I would give to anybody who has, gotten your book or any parts of your coaching is to stay focused on it and know that the system works. And even if it doesn't work immediately, continue to work it and figure out how your unique abilities and your industry. And once you get that right pitch, the media jumps all over it. I mean, they jump all over it. The guy was so excited. And so, just keep going. Don't give up, because we contacted several media outlets before we got a yes. The first person to give us a yes, the second, we didn't get a yes at the second. We didn't get a yes at the third. But what I will tell you, once we got our yes from our local Channel 4, and we were able to take that yes from Channel 4 into those other media outlets that rejected us, now everybody wants the story. And so, my strongest recommendation is to keep going, even when you get discouraged or you think, oh, this isn't going to work. Clint's a rock star, and that's why it works for him. If you keep working the system, keep reading the book, because the first time I read it, I missed some important points. I read it through and I thought I was reading thoroughly, but every time I went back and read just the book alone, I kept on some key points that I had missed the first time I read, or the second phase. I progressed from the first phase to the second phase. I wouldn't read the first phase once I made it past the first phase, but I would go into that phase that I had, reached that level of accomplishment. And I'm like, there must be something that I'm missing because they haven't booked me yet. And so I would read those chapters in the book, and I'm like, oh, so that's what I'm missing. And once I was able to implement that thing that I noticed that I was missing, we got on the morning show.
What was it that you were missing?
I'll say in the beginning, honestly, I was afraid. I was kind of thinking small of myself. I'm like, I'm just a local business owner. I just do hair extensions. I'm not clear. Yeah, who am I to get on TV? Why would they bring me on TV? But in understanding exactly what I do in service to the public, the guy be on. And so in reading, the book and understanding exactly how you win over the producers of the shows, it gave me that confidence that, what? My story is worth being on, the local morning news. What I'm doing for my community, the news producers and the anchors, they want with the public. And so once I was able to gain that confidence in myself and what I was doing, for the community, it was, a piece of cake.
Awesome. You hit on the most important thing. You see, it's like people think this is obvious, okay? But this is not obvious. You as an entrepreneur have every right to call up those news people as long as you know how to feed them the story in the way that they want to hear the story.
Right.
All right? And that's what this program teaches. It teaches you how to deliver them a package in a format that is easily digestible to them, that looks professional to them, that fulfills their needs as producers, okay? And once you have that product, which is the TV segment, delivered to them on a silver platter, you have every right to be calling them.
Right.
All right?
Absolutely.
Those are the ruby slippers, okay? That's the ruby slippers. And Shalita Heard figured it out, and went for it and did it. And I'll tell you something else, Shalita Heard. I met you in March. I think it was March 21st. It's less than 2 months ago. And I absolutely knew that if you followed through and just did what I said, I knew you were going to get on TV, because you were looking at me like, man, this guy really has the goods here. This guy really is giving it to us. And I am. Okay? I'm absolutely delivering it to you. And I knew you saw that. And I knew that if you could only just follow through, that I was going to be seeing you on TV. And I haven't seen the clip yet, but when are you going to post the clip?
Well, the thing is that the audio producer is the guy who called me to the back, and he wants to work with me. And so I'm going to get the clip from him as soon as I can, because I have his, you recommend that we kind of get the information from the producer. Well, the producer called me to the back. I didn't even have to ask for his card or anything. And so I'm looking to have that clip within the next 48 hours. And as soon as I get that clip, I'll definitely, let you, view that so you can see it,
Okay, well, look on their website. Look on their website. They may already have put it up.
Right. I looked and it wasn't there yet. And they have a lot of clips from, this morning, but my clip was not there yet. But the relationship that I was able to build with the producer, who was working backstage on audio and everything, I don't see any that clip within the next 24 to 48 hours.
All right, well, look, I'm going to send you I really discourage my students from pestering producers about the clips, okay? I'm going to forward to you the contact information of a service that gives my students special deals on getting clips. And you can get the clip after the fact. If they don't put that clip up by tomorrow morning on their own website, on their own, I suggest that you contact this guy Alex Hernandez at this clip service that I'm going to send you, and pay the $100 and get the clip, okay?
Right.
Because he'll send it to you as an electronic file that you can then upload to YouTube and embed on your website, which is really what you want, okay?
Right.
All right. And by all means, what you should be doing is not pestering the producer about the clip. What you should be doing is getting the next appearance date nailed down. All right?
Right.
And what the next segment's going to be about. And when are you going to do it? And let's put that in the book so we can get it scheduled and done. These guys are happy to have a beautiful, enthusiastic, well-spoken young lady like yourself who is participating in the events of the community on their staff for free, basically, okay? And you are happy to be on their TV show for free, because most people have to pay thousands of dollars to get 30-second spots, but not you, okay? Mm-hmm. So what I want you to do is focus on nailing down what is our next segment and when is it going to be, okay?
All right. Okay.
All right, good. Looking forward to more great things. Hey, tell the people where they can find out more information about you and what you do.
Well, I am the Chief Extension Officer at Iconic Hair Studio. You can locate me at Little Rock Hair Extensions with an S.com, or you can call me at 501-420-HAIR. That's 420-HAIR, 501-420-HAIR. That's how you can find me. I am the Chief Extension Officer, so I am the CEO of Hair Extensions. And so if you need your hair extensions fixed, or you are a beauty professional looking to grow your hair extension business to the six-figure capacity, give me a call, and I can help you out. Thanks, Clint.
Thank you, Shalita. Great job, and I will see you again on television.
Yes! Thank you.